Blanco fans? I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Michael.
And today we are looking at Michael's Wildwinds final park tour.
Yes, so this was a park that I started right after Christmas time, and I got done with it in the probably middle of May is what I'd say, or beginning of May. So it's about 3 to 4 months, or about 4 months working on this. Jasmine, what's your kind of thoughts before we kind of start the tour? Kind of looking at an overview of it.
I think this is definitely your best park yet, so I'll be interested to see what you do next after this, because I'm not sure how you're going to top this one, but I have full confidence that you will.
Yeah, I'm looking at it too, like, okay, this is a good park. I got to make sure I improve with each park. But the idea with this park was I started with the coaster, for anybody who's watched it, and I kind of took a lot of inspiration from Carowinds with kind of that entryway and stuff, and so that's just kind of how the park started, and it's kind of grown from there. So I didn't want to have as many coasters as my last park, so I've got only 7 this time instead of 10.
Yeah, your last one was pretty crazy with the number of coasters.
Yeah, and the park just felt it just didn't feel full because the 4,000 people that you can allow in, they're all like on rides, and it just seemed like an empty park. So I think I've done things a little bit differently this time. And so how I want to approach this is kind of how I've been approaching park tours recently, where I want to do a lot of in flip cam mode because I want us to kind of see what the guests would experience. And then when I get done kind of looking at a section, we'll kind of look at an overview of it. So let's go ahead and get started at the entrance. We are here at the entrance to the park where the guests enter, and so I kind of decided to put up this fence just to protect it from view, because obviously where the guests enter is not the most visibly appealing part. But this kind of main kind of walkway here, or kind of drive, I got inspiration from Hollywood Studios, where they've got kind of this diner kind of style roofing, and at Disney they're all numbered. So instead of it actually having names on it, right, you got kind of the numbers on the outside, and then on the inside is where they've got the sign stating like what resort you're going to or what park and so forth. So this was kind of the concept and idea for this. So like this is just for buses and taxis. So like if you look down here, we got taxi, Uber, Lyft, bus to city, and then Eden Gardens, Avery Forest, Canyon Valley. So a lot of different parks that I kind of all see as being in the same universe.
Yeah, I really like this, and I'm glad you put my parks on there to represent.
Of course, I gotta put one of your parks at least. Then this is just kind of a little roundabout turnaround. Maybe not the most appealing things. It's so hard to make like good circles in this game, but happy with how that turned out. But I think my favorite part of this area is just the view you get of this Giga coaster as you walk in. It's just, especially if you look at sunrise, like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like so picture perfect. So what are your thoughts as we kind of start looking at entering the park?
Yeah, you always do a good job with these very large, grand entrances to your park, so it's like kind of feels like Disney or like a resort like that. And you're walking in and you get this really nice view of a big coaster. It makes you excited to get into the park. So yeah, this is my favorite of your entrances so far that you've made, and I really like this sort of bridge, but it's not really a bridge, it's just kind of like a can you like
oh yeah, sorry the coaster's about to come through, so that's why
like the coaster going underneath it,
right? Yeah, kind of like a little tunnel. So I'll make sure and edit in some footage of that. But this is where, if anybody's been to Carowinds, which I haven't, but we're gonna be going in about a month, so I'm really excited about that. But definitely looked up a lot of Google Maps, Google Images stuff to try to get the Carowinds vibe here, and I feel like I'm really happy with how this turned out, because I did custom support the entire coaster, so seeing that, well, I think that's called treble cleft or whatever, I think turned out really well. And what I do like about this entrance as well is the visuals you get. Like you can see that kind of clock tower that I made in the background. We can see that Zamperla coaster, and then you can also see the wing coaster, which perfect timing as that's about to drop, and the RMC. But the cool thing about the wing coaster is, as we'll see, since I kind of got inspiration from Dollywood and Wild Eagle, it's not actually as big of a drop as it looks because it's up on a mountain over there. So it looks a lot taller than the coaster actually is. But as you said, yeah, definitely, once again, Carowinds vibes for part of this entrance area, just with some of the buildings. You got restrooms over here. We got tickets and will call. And one trick that I did is I put a food or drink. Oh no, I got stuck. Put food and drink in here so it looks like the guests are actually at the ticket windows. I just hate when I knew that was going to happen. I shouldn't have done that. You know, while we're out of this, let's go ahead and get a zoom out of this area so we can see kind of the parking lot, as you said. Very Kings Island style in terms of it being kind of a rectangular and boxy and stuff. And this is where they enter and exit. I don't really have any entry gates, as I probably should have done. But here's where kind of the staff can kind of access the backstage roads and stuff. And we'll look at the backstage stuff at the end. But anything else stand out to you at this point?
Nope.
Oh, I'd already named that one Flip Cam.
It doesn't work if you do that.
No, you just have to like take off their name and then rename them. Alright, but let's get going. There's enough of me talking about the entrance. And of course I had to put one of these in there because I feel like every Cedar Fair park has a has one of those screamers.
That's a ride Michael would never go on in real life.
No, I'd go on that one.
No, you wouldn't.
I would. I went on one with J-Law last summer, and
yeah, but you didn't want to be on there.
No, it scared me. Although those actually at Cedar Fair parks, they're a little bit more. There's a little bit more to it than just the chains in terms of you actually feel protected. But yeah, I was gonna make interior for these, but I decided not to, just with the Oswald counter and stuff.
Yeah.
But I like having the different kind of pathing here to kind of make it stand out.
Yeah, that's a nice touch.
So guest services, pushchair rental, and then if anybody's been to Carowinds, this should also looks familiar because they've got like two little stands right here before you kind of go over another bridge. And I love those chair swings. Those to me are the best riding game. And we got lockers.
Yeah, I like that.
Put a little ATM there to make it look like he's actually using it. So I put an ATM there and here.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and so I feel like on PS5, and especially since I went over the limit, you know, there's certain areas where I feel like I can, you know, I can use a 1,000 pieces here and there, kind of add that realism. But here, this is going to be like staff roads to get from one side to the other. So you look back there, you can see some back of house and stuff like that. And oh, perfect timing with the suspended coaster. But I honestly just absolutely love how this turned out. Like I got this inspiration for this building off of Carowinds building. You go back here, you know, backstage. I put the staff room back here so the employees have to walk through the door. But yeah, anything stand out to you or any questions?
Which way are you wanting to go?
Which way do you want to go? That's the question.
Well, it's up to you because it's your park.
Let's save that for last because let's go to the right first. So what we'll do is we'll go to the right and then we'll kind of come back around to this area and then go to the left.
Okay. Now I like these little buildings that you made.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a lot better with my building style, and I like kind of doing something like this where you've got there's actually benches here where the guests can sit, but then kind of putting that fencing behind it and just putting some foliage and stuff. But this is another building at Carowinds that's it's got like a Coke advertisement on the side, but really happy with it. And then
you put little circles.
Yeah.
That's like how I did in my last park.
That was actually on the building in real life, and I noticed you've done stuff like that before too. So there we got the custom supported RMC. So good views from this part, and then this is a staff only kind of roadway. And I've definitely taken some cues from you on your floral design stuff. Because here's the queue for the carousel.
Yeah.
So
Looks good.
Which we'll do kind of a quick overview of everything kind of at the end, because I know sometimes it's good seeing stuff from the aerial view as well. So is this kind of where you're talking about some of the buildings as well?
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to have more buildings because, like, Jasmine, I'm sure you noticed that Dollywood, like, there's so many buildings, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just trying to learn how to build buildings that look realistic, but they don't all have to have a purpose.
Yeah.
So here's like a little movie theater, Wildwinds cinema, adult tickets, kid tickets, matinee pricing, which is kind of funny I put matinee pricing because everything's kind of matinee at a theme park, essentially. I guess depending on the time of year. So then over here, we have...
Oh yeah, I liked this building.
Yeah, and thank you to Jasmine. She helped me with a couple things on here. Which, first of all, I like the views, although I wish people would actually sit up here, but nobody does. But like you can see the wing coaster, the RMC, and you can even see the Giga. So it's like everywhere in the park, some of the coasters you get good sight lines. She helped me kind of with this part of it, because this is something I know you've done a lot. And so kind of, you know, figuring out something to kind of put and take up space in that area, plus also doing the roof. So thank you for that, Jasmine.
You're welcome.
So then you got the screens there. There's a little staff thing for a door right there. And then the Arrow suspended coaster. So if we go this way, we've got another flat ride.
Okay.
And then... Oh, you know what? I forgot to change the name on this. Okay, before I release it, I'm going to change it to Iron Eagle. Because it's... that's the name created by Chip. And so a couple of the rides I asked for suggestions. We're going to go up the exit so that we don't run into as many people. I know you've made one of these coasters before, right, Jasmine? Or a couple times, right?
What's this?
The suspended coaster where it's...
I
like that view too, how you can see the turnaround. Yeah, this was fun to make. It took a while, a lot of foliage. Oh yeah, and here's a trick that you guys can do too. If you double click on something, like let's say this, if you double click on that, and then it removes the thing from, like, you're not kicked out of flip cam mode in terms of moving back to where you started, and then if you double click on it again, like you want to build. Oh, you know, I'm still in flip cam mode. There's a way to get out of flip cam mode too without it kicking you out to where you started. So Iron Eagle's a steel Hydra, and you got to ride this one in seat view. So we'll talk to you guys after. All right, so Jasmine, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I liked that one. What was it called?
Iron Eagle.
Okay, yeah, I liked that one, and it kind of goes through the forest and comes back, and yeah, good job on that.
Yeah, this is, like I said, there's a lot of trees being placed. I feel like these are just tough because when you first make it, it looks so barren, right? Because these, they have to kind of be wooded and hug the ground a lot. And so I did check everywhere. If there are any spots that looks like you actually hit trees, I have checked, and it does clear everything. The only thing that somebody pointed out, which is true, is there's not a way for staff to get to this lift hill to where if something were to happen from an evacuation standpoint that you could get the guests safely back to the park. So that's just the realism aspect that I'll keep in mind next time I do one of these. But I do really like this and had to put in a couple custom supports on this over here, right here. And so I think they did a good job since you can't really tell the difference. And then here's the backstage area for it. Just a basic transfer track. And if you come this way, we've got a maintenance area back here. And so this is kind of the back of house or backstage stuff for this part of the park. So I'm trying to continue to get better with doing backstage, be more realistic. And I took this building from Canyon Valley, which looking back, Canyon Valley is nowhere near as good as this park, but I really like this warehouse. I was like, why remake something when I can just use it? I just added the kind of windows on the top.
Okay, yeah, I like it.
And then also adding some rooftop stuff, trying to do some rooftop realism. Definitely looked at Planet Bro Coaster.
Oh, those are ornaments.
Yeah, those ornaments or these things right here.
What's that?
These are just ancient statue hoops.
Yeah.
Kind of look like exhaust and stuff, plus kind of adding this part of it. And so with what we've looked at so far, here's kind of the aerial view. Oh yeah, and there's another tunnel where the roadway goes underneath here to where this part can be accessed.
Okay.
So I'm trying to also think too from a standpoint of not just having backstage, but having it all be easily accessible for guests. And so here's kind of the overview shot of this area, and I love this building. Really happy with how this building turned out.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so we head this way. We'll hop back in flip cam mode after we look at the water ride, and we're probably not going to actually ride the rapids. We'll just kind of go through it, zoom through it this way. But I do like how this area turned out. Backstage.
I think you're getting a lot better with your scenery and stuff.
Yeah, I am. I still just got to work on actual theming, but I'm trying to get a lot better and place a lot of junk here and little vending machine area. M&J's Chicken.
M&J's Chicken.
Yeah, Chicken Shack, because this looks like a chicken shack that's at Carowinds. So M&J's Chicken. So we got the Wildwind Rapids, and I'm happy with how this turned out. So this was named by David Vitrano.
Oh, okay.
So I tried to have it covered all nice, and then you kind of go under the rocks a little bit, and there's a little bit of supports here. I don't know what I was doing with that. I was just kind of placing stuff and trying to theme it to adventure just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I love how this roof turned out. So just kind of doubling up the beams like that. I think it gives a really kind of cool look. And so let's go around the rapids just real quick, just to kind of see what the rapids do. And there was one mistake that happened here that I didn't pick up before I placed the last bit of scenery and stuff, which I like the views you get. It's like throughout the park there's good views of the coasters. So I actually went through and placed either rock, or these are actually castle windows. I could have done temple blocks now that I think about it, but the castle windows to kind of create this nice look. Oops, hold on. There we go. The mistake was this train got pushed back, and I didn't realize it got pushed back. But other than that, no other mistakes that I've noticed. So then you come around this way, And I like the nice view right there.
And I feel like rapids are so hard to make.
Mm-hmm.
Because just a lot of stuff you have to do.
Yeah. Well, what I like right here is when you kind of turn around, you can see some of the Giga coaster there. And then,
I like the little bridge.
yeah, a little bridge. That's my little theming. And then you come down this way, and what I like too with this, probably my favorite visual of this is this part here at the end, where you kind of go under the tunnel, then you go under this bridge, and it's just, I think it looks pretty nice. It is funny for anybody who watched the series. I was going through and actually placing screens to color it blue. I didn't even realize you could just actually change the color of the that ugly green color that it starts with. So, yeah, that was not the smartest move on my part. So we're actually I'm going to change up plans a little bit in terms of how we're going to approach going about this park, because I don't want us to go up this way, because I feel like this going up to those two coasters is better kind of going from the other way. But I did want to show this first drop. So it's got a little bit of a turn to it, and then you kind of come up there into I tried to do the death roll like Iron Gwazi has, but didn't quite get it there, but I still like how it turned out. But I like this little rib shack, ribs and chicken.
Yeah, I like that.
And being from the south, I had to put good old southern barbecue with all the fixins.
Mm-hmm.
So, without trying to sound too country. So, happy with how that building turned out. So, anything else stand out to you, or anything else you point out before we move on?
I think you did a really good job mixing your paths and like, yeah, you're really good with doing that and changing up stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because that's not something I really think about too much.
Talking about like this, kind of doing like that. Yeah, well, it's just like if you think about it, let's see, if you delete that, I mean, the path's not covering the whole thing, right? Yeah. So it just kind of covers up the inefficiencies, and wow, I can't speak. I like starting to do stuff like this where you have different kind of sectioned off areas, if that makes sense.
Why not have plants?
I just left it kind of blank because I was looking around some theme parks, and you do have some of this where not everything's covered with plants and trees. It's just kind of grass, like a little grassy hill.
Okay.
But I think my favorite part with kind of what you're talking about the paths is doing this over here. Like, I love how that turned out along with this part right here.
Yeah, I like what you did on the other side of the park where you have that. Well, we'll see it.
Yeah. Don't spoil it.
I'm not.
I'm just kidding.
You released all the videos already.
I know. All right, so we're gonna actually head back this way. So I'll actually end with the RMC.
Okay.
Because I wanted to, once again, I love just the look of that chair swing. Gives off such a good look. So we got a little coffee shop, so gelato and coffee.
Yeah, I like that little building.
Thank you. Nice little seating area. Oh, I didn't realize that sunk through. Oh well.
What?
Because I put some stuff on the rooftop there for realism, and it kind of sunk through because those rectangular.
I wouldn't have even noticed that.
Yeah. Oh well, don't notice that. Let's see. What time? Yeah. I don't want to be shining too bright. So one thing I do like over here is I created a little viewing point.
Yeah.
So it's like you can come up here and watch the coaster. And it is a Giga coaster. It's just at 300 feet.
That's the drop?
Mm-hmm. So, just over 300 feet. And then this is so there's a little access way here to if a car needed to come through or anything. Then we've got, I forgot to put the name up there. I don't think I ever named this now that I think about it.
What's that? Oh.
Oh gosh. I hate when that happens. It's like, you would think that they would change flip cam to where you actually, yeah. But this is just Luna Autos, and we'll kind of go through this speed it up just a little bit. Just to go through and see some nice little scenery.
Mm-hmm. Little kiddie ride.
Mm-hmm. This is definitely the kiddie area of the park.
Yeah, I really like this area.
Well, one thing too that I am trying to do with building parks is I'm trying to, I think before, especially when I first started playing this game, I would try to go so extreme with all the coasters and stuff. And so I'm trying to balance it out more. Like, yeah, I do have a Giga coaster, I do have a 200-foot RMC, but then it's like the invert coaster is only like 100 feet tall. We got a small wooden coaster there. You got the suspended coaster. So I'm trying to not have every coaster be just really overly extreme in terms of its kind of design and stuff.
Yeah.
So I do like how...
What's that part?
This part right here.
Oh.
Goes to a little transfer track for that area. And so there's a drive right here where you can get cars and stuff down.
Oh, okay.
But one thing I'm happy with how this looks is the slight elevation change. So it just provides a little bit more depth to it. It's not anything too crazy, but and then the views you get if you're right here too of kind of looking at the auto ride.
Yeah. You got little sprinklers going?
Just gotta water the plants.
That's cute.
And then Jasmine helped me decide the final piece that went on this.
I mean, I think that makes the whole thing right there.
It does, because it would be like, let's just test it. So
he didn't have the little spire on there, and I was like, it's missing something.
See, no spire, spire, no spire, spire,
It
no
makes
spire,
the
spire.
whole thing.
That's it would have been terrible without the spire. No, it's Jasmine's helped me with a lot of little things, kind of getting her advice and stuff. This was really hard to get the pathing correct for this part. Like, that was a pain in the you-know-what.
That looks so good, though.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. And got a little bathroom here. And this is one thing I've started doing, too, is trying to have a lot of, just kind of extra, whether it's flower areas and stuff like that kind of merge into the grass behind it.
Yeah.
So we got a little sushi, although maybe I should have done something else because I don't know if kids eat sushi too much. So we got Little Dipper. And here's the station.
Yeah, that's cute.
And just looking at some of the stats real quick, is
the little girls in the front.
It's a junior coaster, so it's not going to be too crazy. 46 feet is the largest hill, max speed 41 miles per hour, and we'll talk to you after.
What was your motivation for this roller coaster?
Well, so since this was a Cedar Fair style park, my thought was a lot of the Cedar Fair parks have this blue, small, kind of family style wooden coaster, whether you talk about Blue Streak, I think is what it's called at Cedar Point, or like at Kings Island and Kings Dominion, you've got the Woodstock Express. And so I wanted a different style, almost like a more GCI, newer style of family coaster that has this kind of really overbanked curve on the hill. And just comes through and has a lot of little airtime and stuff like that. And so that's kind of where I got the idea for it. I looked at Blue Streak at Cedar Point for the kind of station. And here's a Backstage, of course, with the transfer track. And in here, kind of, this is one of the few that's actually decked out on the interior of it, or at least somewhat. So you've got a garage there that a truck can enter if need be. And one thing too that I've started doing is placing these wooden scaffolding pieces wherever there is path below a coaster or something, just so from a protective standpoint. But you see that on wooden coasters a lot. And then I took these from Avery Forest having those security cameras on the lift hill. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Thank you.
I like this little roof you have for it, like that, and then the other piece.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a pain
I'm sure.
in the behind as well, with how
But
this curves.
turned out really good.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you. And then I like kind of doing the foliage along the edge here as well, with the fence. And to me, it's crazy how just adding a couple pieces can make it look better. So like if I took that piece off, if we took this off,
it just looks like
it doesn't look near as good. But then you just add those scaffolding pieces, and it looks, in my opinion, really good. And so I just continued the fencing along the whole way. And now we've got a little food area here.
Yeah.
Try to do something a little different with the building. And this little maintenance walkway was
that's
from.
Cute.
I did that in the last park. I just had to adjust it and add a little bit more to the height. But this
Vortex.
is called Vortex. Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know what that was. And we'll get back in Flip Cam after this ride because we're definitely going to want to be in Flip Cam mode for the next area.
You know, that reminds me of on my collab park with Corey, I made a spinning coaster called Vice. And it's like they're related.
Yeah. You know, I just realized I forgot to do something.
What?
This is floating.
What is? Well, what do you normally do with that?
I was going to come back and put some kind of supports on it, but it's not. I forgot to do that. That's the negative about having this build limit is once you go over it, it's like you notice little things and you can't change them. But I love how this station turned out. What are your thoughts on this station?
Yeah, I like it. I think maybe I would have changed that red brick to yellow to match the...
Or like a yellowish?
Yeah, just to match the tracks. But other than that, I like it.
That makes sense. So we're actually going to ride this coaster twice. We're going to do it once in seat view and then once where we can kind of see the spinning aspect of it. So if we just look at the stats real quick, even though this is still a family coaster, G-forces look good. Height, biggest drop 40 feet. So we'll talk to you after. I was telling Jasmine as we were watching that second video, just I love watching the guest facial reactions in this game.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you could have had a little more spinning at the beginning, but the spinning's just so tough to kind of deal with on these coasters to get perfect. But what are your thoughts?
No, I think this is a cute little coaster. Were you just trying to make it like a family one?
Yes.
So you didn't want it to go upside down?
Yeah, these don't go upside down in real life.
Oh, I thought it was like the Smiler. It's supposed to be like the Smiler?
No, so the Smiler's it's called an infinity coaster. It's like I'll have to show you. So the Smiler is a different coaster design, but I'll show you at some point.
I was just looking at the little cars because it looks like the little Smiler, like...
Oh, symbol or something?
Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. But no, this is, they got a lot of these at Six Flags parks, and they don't go upside down, but they've got a lot of these kind of, just kind of little spins, small curvy hills like that. Actually get your stomach pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite part about this section of the park or this area?
I think that that wooden coaster and the gazebo you did are really really good.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just really happy with how this park turned out because I feel like whenever I look somewhere, I'm like, I love how this coaster turned out, but I love how the wooden coaster turned out. Love how the gazebo turned out.
Yeah.
So I'm just really happy with how everything turned out in this park. And real quick, let me hop back into Flip Cam modes. I really feel like the last couple of areas in this park really are best viewed at guest point of view. So I would say, so here's where cars can kind of go down if they need to get down to the maintenance area for that flat ride. And then we got a little bit of a backstage here. But I love how this building turned out.
Yeah, that's cute.
Just trying to do something different. And then you're walking up this way and you see this massive, well, it's not really massive coaster, but you see this.
Is that a floorless one?
No, Danglefoot, yeah. So it's inspired by Banshee at Kings Island with this first drop, and then how that first inversion is right there. So I'm just really, really happy with how this turned out.
Did you make those letters for that sign?
No, those are from Mavs. Mavs Fam 4. And so
I was gonna say your lettering is really improved.
Yeah, it's really tedious. But yeah, so the views, and then also you get the view of that Giga coaster right there. So absolutely love how this turned out. These little buildings, it's tough to try to figure out like how could I create a design on this hill a little bit. But you got some restrooms up here, a couple little steps.
Yeah.
And then here, so once again, good views of the coaster. And then Jasmine's Shakes and Burger. So I named a shop after you. They got a little employee area back there. So I like how you can sit here if you're wanting to eat food. You can sit there and watch the coaster that way, or you can look over this way and kind of watch that first drop. But which one do you want to go on first? You want to go on Giga or
let's do the Storm one.
Stormkeeper? Okay.
Now the only other thing I would say that I think you need to do with your parks is you need to change the little colors for each of the little workers.
Oh yeah, because
they do change their colors and like stuff for rides. Like if there's like a red ride, the workers will wear red. So it's because to match the ride. So that's the only thing because I do that. I try to do that, and I know sometimes it's like a tedious thing that you don't think about, but
yeah, no, it makes sense. And I'll show you guys afterwards because I like doing these little coverings. It's just that colorable flag screen, because if you look at a lot of theme parks, they've actually got these kind of cheap looking coverings over parts of the queue. Just on hot days, and so I feel like that was a really pretty good representation of that. And so then we got the station here, and
so that's custom right there, right?
Tell me what's custom. All these beams and stuff, and so I was trying to have it connect to the top of it, and then also right down here this is the transfer track area. And so this is all built custom. I did it on a live stream. I was just like, heck with it, I'm gonna make this thing custom, and it was a lot of fun to do. Making this custom walkway was pretty fun, and wasn't too bad either. But let's see. So if we look at these stats real quick, Jasmine, you're gonna be upset with me. That's not all green.
Oh, I know you don't. You don't care about that.
So biggest drop 115 feet, max speed 59 miles per hour. So we'll talk to you after the coast. All right, for any of you that have been on Banshee, you can definitely see the inspiration at the beginning, and especially with how it goes over the lift hill here. Now, on Banshee, it's a loop instead of a 0G roll, so I adjusted it that way. But one thing I just noticed is I like when you get here to the top, you can then see some views of the wing coaster right there. So it's, you know, just wherever you are at this park, I feel like you're getting good sight lines of the other thrill rides and stuff.
I think these like suspended floorless coasters are like my favorite, or like Danglefoot coasters are my favorite to ride.
Yeah.
In real life.
Yep. To me, like these type are like I can't ride them more than once. Like that Dragonflyer one that we rode, that's different, you know. But like these more intense Danglefoots, I can only ride them once. Because
like
it's just
Batman is like one of these.
Yeah, like if I ride
like Batman.
Yeah, if I ride Batman twice in a row too fast, like it'll sit me out for a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I haven't been on Batman in a long time, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how this turned out. Here's kind of an overview of that spot in the area as well. So is this the area of the park you're talking about that you like kind of?
Yeah, with the blue lines that you have going, kind of a design.
Yeah, I tried to. It's not necessarily a perfect design or anything.
Yeah, that's not perfect.
It's not symmetrical. Although this looks symmetrical right here in the middle.
That looks good, but I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And then having this frisbee ride right here, I think, kind of.
Yeah.
It's extreme, so it fits the area. But then also like how you see the hammer swing in the background.
Yeah.
Which I just realized I lied earlier. I said there's 7 coasters. There's actually 8 in this park. So we got a dining hall here, which the guests can walk into to get food, but I didn't do anything on the inside. But then maybe my favorite station is this one. So I just like the...
That's the Giga one?
I just like I got the idea from Titan at Six Flags over Georgia. Or not Titan, Goliath. It's called Wind Rush.
Those things you have on top, for some reason, remind me of like a power station. And you could have like electricity things. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. So real quick, here's the kind of overview of, before we ride the coaster, the backstage area. With the transfer tracks, and then if we get kind of zoom out a little bit more, you can kind of see how this is connected to the larger kind of warehouse maintenance area for the park, which I copied these from Canyon Valley as well. And then it's all connected, so I'll kind of show at the end where I try to make sure everything's connected in a realistic way. And then backstage for these two right here, this way. So trying to make everything connect, trying to make sure I'm realistic with that aspect of it. And let's look at these stats. 300 feet exactly, 96 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and take a ride on the coaster. All right, Jasmine. Once again, what are your thoughts of this coaster and just this area as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's like the showstopper coaster for the park, which I think you did a really good job on. And I like that it's you can see it at every point really in the park. And I think, have you made a Giga coaster before?
Yes, I have, but not one anywhere near this good in my opinion.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
Obviously, this is not a coaster I could ride in real life because there's just no way I would survive that. But
You survived, you just might not know how you'd feel afterwards.
Yeah, I think that would probably I probably would like be knocked unconscious just going down that first drop. But, but yeah, no, good job. I am not sure if I like this area more than the kiddie area, but I do like it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, is at the end, I'm gonna ask for your thoughts on kind of which area you like the most, which coasters, also which one you maybe like the least. Because I do want to know maybe kind of what you felt like maybe could have been changed a tad bit or something. But yeah, I just love to look at that first drop. And I got, I definitely looked at Fury for inspiration and to see how to do the supports. Because it's got this custom spine going up that's not part of the actual track. And then doing the supports, and it's weird how they kind of lean like that, but just having those supports can actually have the
do they lean like that in real life?
Yeah, kind of as it starts going down, they kind of lean, and then you've got the spine that goes all the way down into the ground, which I should have put a cement there to kind of be a support for it. But yeah, pretty crazy how they figured out how to support these things with very minimal supports. So let's hop back in flip cam mode to look at this last section or area of the park, which does consist of 3 coasters. But one of them was kind of thrown in as like, hey, I don't know what else to put in this area. So I tried to really deal with a lot of elevation change in this park too.
Yeah.
And I got inspiration for this from Jubilee Gardens because they did something similar. And so I like it kind of provides a cool kind of look with the lighting and stuff. And so depending on the time of day, the look is different, right? So I think that's pretty cool, kind of the lighting and stuff that is created by the shadows. And then you've got a couple more vending machines, which is kind of funny. Like, who wants to get pizza out of a vending machine? Then we got the Zamperla coaster, I think is what is the company. This might be my favorite little bathroom in the park. I just like how this looks.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of like if you're on camping grounds. That's like what the bathrooms would look like.
Yeah. I'm trying to do this a lot more with bathrooms where they kind of have this protective area where it's like, here's
and you, like, walk in.
Yeah, and you go to one side.
Yeah.
And I wish they gave us signs that were like male and then female instead of both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, then here, I was kind of nervous to create this section just because I knew I wanted to do something like this, and I'd never done anything like this before, but kind of creating all these different little building styles kind of going up the
Yeah, I mean, that's
side.
what they look like in a park, and they're all like connected.
And they all kind of look different. And so I like how this one turned out just with using the rectangular pieces. So we'll get back to that in a second, but then continuing this fencing over, which we saw at the very front of the park, right? So I'm trying to like tie certain things in. So I kind of tied this fencing over. And this is called, as the coaster is about to come through, Daredevil Dive.
I like the name. Did you come up with that name?
Well, there's a coaster at Six Flags Over Georgia called Daredevil Dive, and it's a different coaster manufacturer and stuff, but it's kind of the same principle in a way. Like, so here's the queue. This was kind of an interesting station to kind of work with, just because its dimensions are a little bit different. And then here is the station. This is one thing. Oh. Hate when this happens. Well, let's just go ahead and hop on the coaster. Let's look at the stats real quick. Biggest drop 113 feet, G-force is good, max speed 60 miles per hour.
Backstage.
All right, so that was Daredevil Dive, and I believe that is. Oh wow, I'm blanking on the name of that type of coaster right now. But Jasmine, what were your thoughts on that kind of smaller, more compact coaster?
Yeah, I liked it. I don't I don't have a whole lot of thoughts on it, but yeah, no, good job.
Yeah, it was one of those where it was trying to fit it into this small space because I kind of had this area. My thought initially was trying to create like a mystery mine type area, but with the space that I had already kind of created, I was just kind of struggling with that. And I actually adjusted this from the in-game coaster a little bit after that first drop, as I put the in-game blueprint in, and I was like, oh, this actually fits pretty well in the area. Let me kind of try to adapt it, and yeah, just really happy with how it turns out. I think it gives some good views, and um, it's just kind of weird when you build this coaster type because the track looks, you can tell how large of track pieces you made because there's some like indentions where you can see like every 10 meters or however many pieces you use for the track. So let's go ahead and hop back in flip cam mode. And once again, just I feel like one of my favorite things about this park is just the views that you get, kind of no matter where you look. There's like 2 or 3 coasters that you can always see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I liked your buildings here that you made.
Yeah, it took me some time to try to get them right, but I wanted to have a Wild Eagle type feel for this spot, and just in terms of the visual you're getting. So I think this might be my favorite thing about the park is walking up this way and seeing that wing coaster going over the top of that hill.
Mm-hmm.
And so with us just being at Dollywood recently, I think I did a pretty good job on trying to recreate this aspect of Wild Eagle.
Yeah, I can definitely see the resemblance.
Yeah, and then the station, I tried to get this station as accurate as possible for this ride. And it's just it's pretty majestic how it's a pretty big station. The coaster's pretty high off the ground. And we got the hammer swing right there, which I like the views that gives as well.
Yeah, good job.
All right, so now let's go ahead and actually hop on, not Wild Eagle, but Wildwings, named by none other than NH99. And this was a tough coaster to kind of fit into this spot because the queue had to be, there wasn't much space for it. And so with these wing coasters, they've got a dual loading station. So I kind of had to add that in, and I actually added the path here because it made it easier to kind of build around it. But we're going to ride on the right wing, or at least that's the queue we're going up. And I wanted to try to do some different lights. So I got that idea from Planet Bro Coaster. So what do you think about the different style lights right there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good job.
And I like kind of having the cord or cable kind of run through it. It doesn't give off much light, so that's why I hid the area lights beneath it. But really happy with how this station and how this area turned out. As I was looking at pictures of Wild Eagle to try to see what the inside of the station should look like as well. So let's go ahead and look at these stats real quick on the coaster, and then we will go for a ride. All right, Jasmine, as we start walking towards the next area, I realized we got hit by a branch. So apologies if you had to be taken to the medical tent or something afterwards. But what are your thoughts on the coaster and this little surrounding area? Which, once again, I like this bathroom.
Yeah, I like that bathroom too. Yeah, I think that's a good coaster. I think that would probably be the second Showstopper, like the number 2 coaster for this park, at least in my opinion. Just because it's kind of a special coaster. It's really high up. And then maybe that RMC that you have might be the third.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, so then we're going to go in the RMC, and then I'll kind of show you visuals of the area from above and stuff, and we can look a little more detail at
I like this thing that you got going on here, too.
Yeah, so I saw Commando Santa on YouTube, one of his parks. He had something similar to this, kind of as his entrance. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool little different building to kind of take you into this small plaza.
I love the sign that Mavs made.
Oh, yeah. Mavs is like, he's a wizard. I don't know how he does it.
I don't know how he does it either.
It's insane. Now, one thing I want to point out on here before we actually ride the coaster is, so I kind of got the fencing from Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point, because that's kind of what they do. And then other thing to show you is, I don't know how I came up with this design, but I just decided to kind of make this food place. So it's kind of got a little bit of an elevation change there. So it's kind of a cool look if you look at it with the RMC in the background right there.
Yeah, so I think the only other thing you could have done was you could have had a little bit more Western touches to it, and then some animatronics or something with the cowboys, and then that would have made it a little more themed with the sign that Mavs made and everything.
Yeah, you're right about that for sure. So this is custom supported, and this is just the scaffolding pieces. And then I tried to custom support this 0G roll. First time trying to do this, so it's not perfect, but I am happy overall with how it turned out. And the tricky thing is, if you take off these supports, you can't have a catwalk. So I had to custom make this catwalk, which
Good job.
It wasn't bad once you get the first part done. And so as you can the tricky part though is when you get to the top of the hill, which, look at the views from up here. Beautiful. But yeah, so just doing this part is a little bit trickier because obviously it's not continuing the same elevation change and stuff like that. As I said, really happy with how it turned out, and copied this covering over from Wild Eagle, or not Wild Eagle, Wildwinds. What do you think about the station?
Yeah, I like it.
Do you like that roof piece right there?
Yeah, Yeah, I remember you making that.
Yeah, it's something different, just to try to give it I think it gives it a pretty, gives it a pretty cool look when you're down here in the station, And one thing too that I've started using is using those little firehouse floodlights, because they really light up a station well. Like just using those little lights lights it up. So let's actually go back to daytime, and let's look at the stats and then take a ride on the final coaster of the park. So G-forces, max speed 84 miles per hour, biggest drop 240 feet, so the largest RMC in the world and the fastest RMC in the world. So we'll talk to you after. So Jasmine, before I ask you about the coaster, I want to show this transfer track over here. And the only thing that I realized is I didn't realize that once I replaced this that the support is going through what I made right there.
What's that, Michael?
I know, right? And I still have this archer here who I used as kind of a guide for stuff. But I wanted to kind of create this kind of facade here that they kind of built in almost as like a retaining wall in a way. And then I added in a little bit of supports here. Like those pieces are actually the thick wooden or the haunted house beams, just because trying to add this covering, then you come through and you got obviously the transfer track. So
yeah, I think I think you did a good job with this coaster. That is super scary. And it was like kind of slow.
Yeah.
No, but I think you did a good job. I think, and that's another thing too, because I'm sure Maddie's going to point this out too, is there's not a whole lot of water in this park. Could have been a little more lakes.
There you go, water, Maddie.
You got that.
Yeah, that's true. Not much water in the park.
Or like some tunnels, some caves. I remember on your park you had, was it the last one? You did some tunnels on some of your coasters and stuff. That was cool.
Yeah.
Just my little critique.
Yeah, well this time I didn't really want to put much water in it because basically my last two parks had a big little lake of water that...
That's true. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
But my inspiration for this one is a lot of different things. First of all, Iron Gwazi a little bit with that kind of second turn. And then I wanted to kind of feel like the Beast in that... Like my thought was almost...
Oh, you got some water there.
Yeah, my thought was naming it something like the Beast Unchained or something like that, because I wanted to kind of feel like the Beast at Kings Island, and the fact that you're going out in the woods. Like if we turn this to nighttime, like, I mean, it's just pitch dark out here. There's no lights, nothing. So it's kind of like you're just going out in the woods and pitch dark. And
well, I feel like a lot of like wooden coasters have to be kind of like you're going on a journey.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, going on a journey. And then this was kind of Outlaw Run was the inspiration for that part at the end. And then, of course, seeing Wild Eagle here.
Yeah.
Also, gosh, I keep saying Wild Eagle. It's Wild Wings.
Wild Wings.
But
we know it's Wild Eagle.
Yeah, it's inspired by Wild Eagle.
Yeah.
But I am really happy with how it turned out. And I like this biome because it's already got some built-in elevation.
Which one is this?
The deciduous.
Okay.
So it's like this part already is kind of built up on a hill, so it's easier to try to create these mountains to go with it because there's already some aspect of that. So here's kind of an overview of this area, and then an overview of the whole park. So Backstage real quick, I think I've already shown you, but here we've got the main area maintenance. So this road would take you over here to where you could then go to the maintenance area for the Giga coaster or the B&M. Then you got another warehouse up here that takes you to the B&M invert. This will also take you down to the wing coaster.
Yeah.
So everything's connected over there. And then this way, the only thing that's not connected to the main maintenance is this RMC, but I did connect it to the path right here.
Yeah.
Which I meant to put a little bit better of a gate, but oops.
Oh, that's fine.
But yeah, happy with how it all turned out, and especially trying to be, I'm all about the realism, so trying to make sure everything's connected and it makes sense realistically.
I think you did a really good job with this.
And so I used the entire map basically, even if there is just trees for part of it. So let's look at night real quick, which I don't make parks for night, so I feel like enough lighting. I put lighting on the coasters. Nothing too crazy though. So one thing that is funny though is this right here that I made. This kind of little operator's booth thing. The lights I used are those floodlights, like those emergency lights.
Yeah.
But it gives kind of a cool look though. Like right here when you get to the bottom of the coaster.
I wish they would have some lights that like were just
Yeah.
stationary lights or whatever.
Yep. So let's go back to daytime. And so I want to ask you a couple things. First off, what is your favorite coaster? And not necessarily what would be the showstopper, but in your opinion, what's your favorite one? And then what do you think is your least favorite coaster?
I mean, I really like the little kitty the kitty wooden one. I like that because I like the little covering you have. The station is really cute, and just that little area. My least favorite, I'm not sure what I would say my least favorite is, because I think you did a good job on all of them.
Don't.
I mean, I don't know what I would say.
Yeah.
Would be the least. Because there's not one that I'm like, I don't like this one, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way looking at the rides that I made. Just because I think they've all got their really cool, unique elements. Like this one, I think I was saying to Jasmine as we were riding this one here, like as you're hanging upside down, I mean, the view that you get is pretty cool. And then you kind of come and twist. I mean, even this coaster's still got some really cool elements to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that one.
So I feel like this is a park that you would go to, and I'm not just saying this because I made it, but I feel like it's a park you go to where there's not like a bad coaster, you know, or not one that's like people wouldn't ride. What about your favorite area? So we got the kids area, you got the big thrill area back there, we got this other kind of, not necessarily western, but you know, a little bit more kind of wooded area. Same thing down here with this one, and then you've obviously got the main kind of.
I mean, the kitty area is my favorite, but I mean, I really love the entrance that you did. Like it's kind of like a 2-part entrance.
Yeah.
That you did. You did a really good job with, and then probably the area where the Giga coaster is.
Yeah.
And then and I mean, I like that area. Right there with like the Daredevil Dive and the little buildings. I mean, I think all of the areas are really good.
Yeah, I think that's one way that I know I feel like I've done a good job of making the park to where I enjoyed it too, was every area's got something different that I really like, right? Like the kids area, it's more open. It's not necessarily colorful like you see at a lot of theme parks, but you've got kind of the blue wooden coaster, you got good views, you got that nice gazebo. Here, I love the visuals you get of the 2 coasters. I like how this kind of plaza kind of turned out. And then like you said, even here, I mean, it's just, I mean, the visuals you get I feel like are really good in this park. And then even in this part over here, I mean, you got this coaster, but then you've kind of got this, it's not as big of a plaza, but it's more kind of a little walkway going across. I think just for your next park, have some more themes, like distinct themes for some rides. Maybe a dark ride, you know, and just try some things you haven't tried before. But I think this is definitely your best one that you've done. And for anybody who's wondering, because I know Jasmine and I have been saying this for a while to ourselves, but we do want to do like a park layout tutorial at some point. And I think it's like, for me, if you look at theme parks and look at maps, essentially almost every coaster is outlining the park, right?
Right.
So it's like every coaster, for the most part, unless they're a really old coaster, that they've usually got individual plazas, or they share a plaza. So in this instance, even though this is a large shared plaza, this has got its own individual part over here. This one's got its own individual part. When you think about this one here, it's got its own, and yes, it's technically on this walkway going this way, but it's still got this own little plaza right here. So they kind of represent endpoints in a way. Even though you can walk past it, it's with those two.
So I would just say, like, build certain sections, you know, like you kind of have to plan it where your showstopper's always going to be kind of in the back or on the side, and then but you have to like round each big coaster out with some smaller rides and some food areas for people to sit. And then you also don't want to make like dead end points where because you kind of want everything to be, I don't want to say a circle, but
Right.
where the guests can get to another section.
You're talking about how the paths are laid out, right?
Yeah.
So like here, this you can look at it as a circle, but there is one dead end, but the dead end point there is for coasters. And
Right.
so I think this one is
They-
probably the best example of how a lot of it is at parks, where it's like this is truly a dead end spot where
Yeah.
when you exit the coaster, there is no going over this way more. Like you come back right to where the entrance of the coaster is, and that takes you out into the main plaza.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but yeah, we definitely plan on doing a tutorial about that at some point. So, I think that's it. We're gonna wrap it up. So thank you guys so much for all your support, for supporting Jasmine and I in the channel. And any other final thoughts, Jasmine?
I would just say stay tuned for a park by me and Michael together.
Yeah, we are working on, almost done with the first episode.
We're starting it.
Let's just say, to give a little sneak peek, it's in the city map, so it's not going to be a massive park. I think the parking lot is going to, and the entrance area will probably be the best that we've done, at least in my opinion. So we'll see, but it's going good. I don't know how many episodes we're going to make before we release the first one, but
Yeah.
Might give a little spoiler picks here and there. We'll see.
We'll see.
So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much. And as I said, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe if you're not. And this park is now up on the workshop. So if you have PS5, make sure to download it and check it out for yourself. And I'd love to get your feedback, thoughts, opinions, constructive criticism, whatever you might feel like you want to let me know about the park. I'm all for it. So thank you guys so much and have a great rest of your day.